Welcome back to Tailgate Talk. Today, we are going over every single NFL team and the greatest player to represent that organization. We're going to start in the AFC East. Buck, Patriots.
We're going to fire through it quick. Tom Brady, I think, is the obvious choice for this one here. He won so many damn Super Bowls, so easy peasy. Who do you have?
Yeah, 6 out of the 7. Tom Brady, I think the best quarterback in NFL history. Love it, hate it. He set up the Pats for so many more years to come in terms of just being one of those storied franchises. I'm not happy about it. Also, let us know in the comments. And if you're new, make sure to subscribe. Highly appreciated. We can go to the Bills, where I have Bruce Smith. I mean, all-time sack leader. They played 14-15 season with the Bills. I think it's kind of an easy call out, at least in my eyes. Though I will say, maybe long-term, if Josh Allen gets it going,
that's
how playoff games.
That's what I was going to say,
Super Bowl or two.
Josh Allen is the face of them right now. If he gets a Super Bowl, I think it's going to be him, but I think Bruce Smith is a good play there. Dolphins is an obvious one with Dan Marino.
I was going to say, speaking of lack of Super Bowls, that's the only thing that he never really got. I'd love to know where people that watch the channel or just in general football fans rank Dan Marino as all-time greats when it comes to QBs. But that's who I have for the Dolphins. I think he's kind of a shoe-in from the talent pool that they've had up to this point. And then you got to go to the Jets, and most of it's not going to be too recent. I'm always thinking Joe Namath when you're thinking Broadway Joe, sort of the face of the franchise, and that's something that people grab onto. I don't know if you wrote down any of the recent guys. I always think of
I think Justin Fields was a huge huge piece
not
of that franchise.
Not that recent.
No, you gotta go backwards.
A little further.
Darrelle Revis is one for sure. They have nobody right now that's going to be the face of the franchise.
Yeah, shout out to Darrelle Revis. I mean, the Revis Project or Revis Island was a real thing for multiple years, where he could shut down half of the secondary on his own. I even think of Curtis Martin.
I don't know if anybody wants to have the word island behind their name right now.
All right, we'll move on to the AFC North on that. Yeah. Go Steelers. Give me what are you thinking for the Steelers?
Mean Joe Green, man. I think is obvious choice, but there's a few other ones in there as well too. So who do you have?
Yeah, I think you date back to him because I always think of dynasty building. I mean, this is like the 1970s, but you have a 4-time Super Bowl champion. We could give a little side shout outs. I always look at, and maybe because he's also on air all the time, I'm thinking Terry Bradshaw. You had Big Ben Roethlisberger. I always loved Rod Woodson. I don't know if he gets enough credit or not, but we throw him in there. I think still it's going to be Mean Joe Green as you do. The Ravens are actually quite debatable, and for me, this is a little hot takey, but I love Ed Reed. I think Ed Reed is arguably the greatest safety of all time. And I know everybody's going to jump off the woodwork with Ray Lewis. And being one of the best linebackers, always having those leadership qualities. But I would say there's a conversation to be had there. I don't think this is as clear as people make it seem with the Ravens.
Well, let us know in the comments because I had Ray Lewis. So
yeah, that's going to be what the masses say. I'm telling you, they got a tough one. I even think of Ogden on the blocking side. I mean, Suggs was cold-blooded. We don't know where Lamar Jackson is going to end in this whole equation.
Yeah, that's true.
It's
Derrick Henry,
all
of them. Yeah, no, it's true. We'll see what happens, though. They need to win a Super Bowl here soon again. All right, Bengals. I have Anthony Munoz. But we're both from the FIFA space, and Ocho Cinco has done.
That'd be sick.
I mean, to be honest, man, he is a solid face for the Bengals. He's also kept himself beyond relevant, after his playing days as well too.
He's touched everything.
Yeah,
and he's right now, good at everything. One of the probably biggest, I don't know, football. Not football, American football, but actually soccer, maybe commentary or influencers or whatever word you want to use. Presenters. He's always on air. I always see him having all sorts of different takes. And a different life, I think he would have been a pro soccer player. Or at least would have went for that. But I agree. Anthony Munoz, first Bengal to get into the Hall of Fame. So it's got to be there. And then the Browns, I think you have to go super OG. And this is weird because this is not an era that any of us are part of. So we start talking about the Jim Browns, the Otto Grahams. These are the winning years for the Browns. I mean, they haven't won anything. I was looking this up a few weeks ago. I don't know why. But 1964 is the last championship for the Browns. And they've never been good. I wouldn't say, or definitely never great in either of our years living.
I was going to say, it's only a few years before you were born, though, wasn't it?
All right. Let's I mean... I'll give a shout out to Myles Garrett because I also should say this is 70 years later that this guy's doing what he's doing. I'm not even exaggerating. Legitimately, I think 70 years. 70 years later from these other guys that we're mentioning, as amazing players for the organization. Myles Garrett might go down. We'll see how it all finishes. Is just one of the greatest players, not only in his position, but just period. Defensive influences. I mean, a freak of nature, absolute freak of nature.
No, and it's a good thing that they have Shadur Sanders there too to free him up a little bit now as well. He doesn't have to worry too much about playing defense anymore when they have that crazy of a superstar quarterback. AFC South Jaguars. Who do you have?
This is a weird one. I don't know if I love any of the Jaguars players that much. I mean, you got a Hall of Famer with Tony Boselli, so that's got to be the main call. I've always thought of the Jimmy Smiths in this world, but I mean, it might be a little bit of a stretch, but that's kind of what I had as my short list, I suppose. He didn't have a super long career, though. He had injuries, I know, towards the end. I want to say that he had, maybe it was a shoulder injury where he had surgery that didn't go right. Somebody will tell me I'm either quoting fantastically well or I'm misquoting. I even liked Fred Taylor, but I that's where I'm going. I'll finalize there.
I was going to say my short list had Fred Taylor on it as well, too, to get him a mention in there. Texans, you can be as biased as you'd like to be with this one.
There's only one. You don't need me for this either. It's J.J. Watt. I mean, 6'5", 280 with abs, 3-time Defensive Player of the Year. If we had other things working for us or in our favor, I mean, I think we would have made a real deep run. We're yet to get to a Super Bowl. That hasn't happened to us.
Do you have a number 2 at the Texans or no? Behind J.J. Watt?
I like a lot of the players that we have now. I mean, I always think of guys like I love Andre Johnson. I was a big fan of Foster as well when he got to play for us with Adrian Foster. And it's a tricky one, man. It's a tricky one. JJ's so clear because, like, I know he was injured a decent amount towards the second half of his career, but he was just better than everyone. That's how I felt.
Yeah.
Maybe that is super biased, but that's how I felt. Like, we're looking at the best talent, period. And it's too bad we didn't get maybe a few more healthy years towards the end. I think he would have been breaking records type of levels. This is where I also have trouble with some of the OGs, like the guys that you're going back to playing in the 1950s, 60s, 70s. I'm not here to discredit. Just the way that we've elevated with athleticism is unbelievable. Like, you can't tell me that J.J. Watt or Myles Garrett going back 40, 50, 60,
yeah,
70,
wouldn't kill people,
they're
dude.
Crushing,
yeah,
bro.
Yeah.
Bro. If they look like this and you're putting them in that era, they're about to have a field day like you've never seen.
It's like an 8th grader playing against a bunch of elementary school kids.
No
exactly.
Disrespect, though.
Yeah.
No disrespect.
No, just completely discredit everything they did. No, it's no disrespect at all. All right, Colts. Let's go. Peyton Manning, I think, obvious for me. Yeah. They do have a few other really good players that have gone through there.
But it's almost in the Manning era, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, Marvin Harrison was a fantastic wide receiver, but he got to play with Peyton Manning. Even Edgerrin James, the same sort of thing. Some people probably bring up Unitas, but what Manning did in a different period of time or different time period, I think is far more impressive. The one shout I'd like to give, and I don't think he could compete because he's not going to overstate on Peyton Manning, but they had the greatest kicker ever with Adam Vinatieri.
Yeah.
Remember him lining up? Yeah, I don't know.
No, I remember that too. Yeah.
But I mean, this is like the guy, like absolute guy, number one in his position, period, stamp it. That's where I'm at. And I guess the last one in the group, my forever hated Titans. And what's funny here is I have Bruce Matthews, who I actually got to see play as a kid growing up because he played for the Oilers before the takeover to the Titans.
God, yeah.
I'm just saying. What was pretty cool with him, though, is that he got to play. He was like all pro levels with multiple offensive line positions. So he could play as a tackle, a guard, or a center at elite levels, which, I mean, that just doesn't exist. So shout out to Bruce Matthews. I don't know if you had some other short list players down. I just think that's impressive. I think that's super impressive. I'm usually not positive towards anything Titans.
No, I had Bruce Matthews.
It's because he started at the Oilers.
That's fair. No, you can be biased on a few of these things as well, too. AFC West, Broncos, John Elway, I feel, is the obvious choice.
He's the franchise tag, right? He's the franchise tag. When you think Broncos, you think John Elway.
Yeah, no, it's true. Chargers, I literally, growing up, my number was 21 for soccer because I loved LT so much. So I do think it's Damian Tomlinson. Antonio Gates. Is it weird that I think Phillip Rivers is one of the most, I wouldn't maybe not GOAT, but like when you think Chargers, you think Phillip Rivers, you know? Like if we're going off of just a face.
It depends, I guess, what era we're almost talking Chargers. Because I always thought Junior Seau and what he did on the defensive end, may he rest easy, that was crazy the whole way through. But what an influence on kind of the defensive duties. But I think LT is the guy, man.
Yeah.
Also, LT was a modern running back before modern running backs. I mean, there were a few guys in his era that were like that, but like I'm talking about being able to catch the ball like a receiver and then also being able to rush in unlimited touchdowns. He's a touchdown machine.
Yeah.
And he's a professional. I remember watching. Did you ever see the episode they did, LaDainian Tomlinson's Cribs episode?
I did not see that one. No,
I watched it. It stuck with me. I don't know why that stuck with me, but all of his interviews, he seemed just like such a serious. I'm here. I'm dedicated to the sport. Like none of the off the field issues. He was not LT. I didn't feel like he was part of that.
I don't think so either. This guy's family for the next team has a bunch of off the field issues. I have Patrick Mahomes for the Chiefs.
Yeah, I mean, 3 Super Bowls, 3 MVP Super Bowls or Super Bowl MVPs, a couple regular season MVPs. We'll see what he bounces back with next year after having the knee injury. But yeah, I agree. We can keep it short and sweet. I agree with you on Mahomes with Kansas City. He's created a new age dynasty for an organization that doesn't really have that history.
Yeah, that's fair. Who do you have for the Raiders?
The Raiders, I'm weird. I don't know what I want to do here. Because
we can skip them.
No, but I'm just like, let me tell you why I'm weird. Because some of the players that people bring up or like talk about, like a Marcus Allen, but that was like the Los Angeles Raiders, which feels off to me. Like even right now, the Las Vegas Raiders feels off to me. I always think of Tim Brown. That's kind of where my headspace goes, which I think is right. I don't know if it is right. It's my take. I also think of Charles Woodson, and maybe I'm giving a lot of credit to a lot of these cornerbacks, man. Maybe I just like guys that change games. I even thought for the Broncos with Champ Bailey. Champ Bailey, what a guy. Like you couldn't deal with him. These were shut down corners. But I got Tim Brown, and I feel good about it. So that's where I'm staying.
I don't like looking up the Raiders, and I feel good about that too. All right, NFC East. Let's go. I'm not giving an answer for the Raiders. I don't like them, by the way.
All right, so now we're going to go straight to the Eagles. The whole division here is a mess for me. This is like the division I feel like I have only negatives for almost everyone.
All right, we'll start us off hot then.
Sweet. This is not going to be agreed with. I think most people are going like a Reggie White, maybe on a maniac on the defensive. But I always loved Brian Dawkins. Probably one of the few players that I thought for the Eagles that was just game-changing, real leadership quality. I didn't want to, I don't want to go up against him. I didn't want to meet him outside of a bar. He's like one of those guys like my size that would just destroy me.
Yeah. Jeez. Yeah, I win.
Don't love that. Yeah.
I was going to say I had Reggie White. Cowboys.
This is also an interesting combo.
There's a lot, man.
I don't like any of these guys either. I've always heard Emmitt Smith's a nice guy. So I guess maybe you're looking to Emmitt Smith's to Troy Aikman's. Do I have to? You make a choice. I don't even want to go to. I'm tired. This is the back-to-back that hurts me in all of our videos.
No, you're good.
I don't want to say anything good about these guys.
I had Troy Aikman. I thought that just with everything still, he's still around. So that was the first name that came to mind.
You can give love to Staubach if you'd like. Anyways, go on to the Commanders.
Darryl Green.
I think he, a guy that played a long time, man, probably a decade of playing at a premium level. So, shout out to the longevity. I don't know if I'd call him the LeBron James of the Commanders, but maybe that works. Maybe it doesn't. I don't know. Yeah. And then last we have is the Giants, which I'd be frustrated if I was Michael Strahan because he's probably going to always sit behind LT. Like for Lawrence Taylor being, I think he's going to be always your lead run for the Giants. But Michael Strahan is no slouch. You're dealing with 2 Hall of Famers. I think this is a super hot take. I've always thought Eli Manning was a little overrated. Like he was obviously a leader for like Super Bowl runs. He's the QB, but he was never a Peyton Manning. He was never the same individual talent. They had more going on as a collective, in my opinion. But some people will come after me for that too. I'm not anti the Giants in that division. That's actually the team that I'd like to see have more success and bounce back. I just want to put that out there. Like, please beat the Eagles and the Cowboys, and happy days. I'll be there locked in at the stadium.
America would be happy at that point. Yeah, I had Strahan, and I put Eli Manning down as well, too. NFC North. Start with the Bears.
Probably the most graceful runner, maybe the prettiest runner. Just had this like galloping pace. I don't know if you ever went back or you still go back and watch the highlights for Walter Payton. It's hard for me to go somewhere different, even though I will say, I always think, I don't know that he deserves to be in this combo, or the Bears fans will tell me, but I always think back on the Singletaries or the Urlachers, the Gale Sayers, even Butkus. Like, there's a lot of standout players, but Walter Payton's where I'm going.
Fair enough. I wanted to go with Mike Ditka personally, but I think I can agree with Walter Payton. I think that works for me.
There's quite a few options, both offensively and defensively for the Bears.
Are we allowed to get coaches in here for the GOAT of all time as well too, or no?
I didn't write down coaches, but I mean, like, I guess we could throw in some consideration.
Okay, I'm just saying for that.
Is that where you're going for the Packers? You've like got the coach that you like?
I like Mike Ditka a lot, so that was my GOAT right there. So I'm gonna take him. Packers for Packers, I meant. Brett Favre, I think, was our guy forever. I think he stuck around just too damn long, though. That was the only issue with football, where I think it did hinder his legacy a little bit towards the end. But I think
it might have been the massage therapist or the trainers that hurt his legacy a little bit on the way out.
There's a lot of things that he did that was questionable on the way out. But yeah, I think when you think them, you think Brett Favre, and then you obviously think Aaron Rodgers as well too.
See, I haven't flipped. I always think of Brett Favre in Green Bay, but I think that Rodgers was superior to Brett Favre. So I would put Rodgers as my choice, but it has got to be between those two for the Packers.
Okay.
We'll move on from Brett Favre and learning how to take pictures on his cell phone, because that was a bad time. It's a bad time. It was a bad time. It's too old to be up to no good.
No.
Minnesota Vikings.
Randy Moss. Yeah. Obvious.
That's where I'm at.
Okay.
I think he's revolutionary for the wide receiver position. Big playmaker. Every time he had that arm up, I mean, instant deep ball threat. I mean, if you didn't go there, maybe talk about the Adrian Petersons of the world, or even the Chris Carters. But Randy Moss is the guy for me. Which leads us with last but not least, and I don't know if I'm in line with this one either with the Lions for this division. Everybody says Barry Sanders. Everybody's like, look, 10 seasons, 1,000+ yards. The agility, the changing of pace, but I always want to make a case for Calvin Johnson.
Yeah.
Did we forget? I know these guys, neither of them were the biggest winners or the best longevity, maybe the best contributor to go on these rounds or these periods of their careers. I mean, they're not the greatest stat room stuffers, but I would argue Calvin Johnson, there's not a harder matchup for any cornerback ever at the wide receiver position.
I was this guy. Say, yeah, I had Calvin Johnson too, bro. He was unbelievable.
They're both unbelievable.
Yeah, they were.
I don't know. Like, I sit here and I go through the greatest wide receivers of all time, and if we're not taking like the career, like, you know, every stat and this, just ability of a wide receiver, I'm like, who is better than Calvin Johnson?
Yeah,
I'll wait. Run up the comments. Let me know what receiver or receivers that you have that were better than Calvin Johnson.
Hopefully, all right. We'll see what the comments say there.
I don't know if I can get up here comfortably and be like, yeah, so and so. Like, I could definitely say this guy had better careers, or they were more winning, or they won more awards, whatever. But just individual talent, I don't know.
No, I think it's a fair argument. All right, NFC South, the Panthers. I have Cam Newton.
Yeah, as much as I like Julius Peppers, I think Cam Newton, that MVP year too, 2015, just what a talent. What a talent. And now he's a podcaster, right? Or what do we describe Cam Newton as?
On-air personality, is that what they say now?
Personality. Yeah.
I think that's it, yeah. All right, what do you have for the Bucks?
Derek Brooks. I mean, I think he's got to be the guy, leader, defensive, defining. I mean, I always think about Warren Sapp and the John Lynches and even the Mike Allstotts for the A-Train for the Bucks, but Derek Brooks.
Think Mike Evans ever scrapes that list in somebody's mind or no?
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I don't think it's possible. And now he's obviously moved to the 49ers. I don't think he can get in front of a Derek Brooks.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say with the move.
I don't think it's possible.
Okay. Falcons. I had Matt Ryan, but there's a few other choices as well. Do you have anybody else?
I went the other way and took Julio Jones.
Okay.
And that's like, I think you could lean either direction. I think Julio Jones at the best part or the peak of his career was the best receiver in the league. Maybe for at least a few of those seasons. I mean, I also was wondering, are we missing anybody from Atlanta? Like, do we just have recency bias? Because both these guys, I think, finished 2020, 2021, around that area. But I don't know that I do. I was trying to date back to Falcons players that I thought were going to be, you know, that impactful. I'd like to see what happens here with Bijan, but he needs plenty more time.
Yeah. I think Bijan can make a very strong case here eventually. Saints. Drew Brees. Yeah, okay. That works.
I also love Drew Brees. Like,
yeah,
I also
like
yeah, he's like one of those guys that was like 6 foot, just, oh my God, perfect mechanics. But like not really the ideal build out for a quarterback. You know, everybody's like, we want the Herberts of the world, right? Or the Matt Staffords. Maybe if you could add in even a little more athleticism for Matt Stafford. But like certain builds, you're like, that is what
a quarterback's supposed to look like. Yeah.
Yes, you know.
Yeah.
If Drew Brees wasn't like that. He's kind of the ordinary looking dude that's just out there with like a cannon of an arm.
Yeah, no, he didn't look the part, but he was damned good.
I don't even know if he was 6 foot either. Like they list him at 6 foot, but he always looked like he's about 5'10".
They measured him with the cleats and the helmet on.
You know, like when he's throwing behind the O lineman, he's not seeing nothing. I don't know what Drew Brees
just blind throwing it. That's what Kyler Murray's about to do.
We should give him more credit. He threw blind for half his career.
I saw something the other day that said quarterbacks should be measured only to their eyes. Because, like, Peyton Manning, realistically, has, like, 4 or 5 inches of real estate that just does absolutely nothing at all. It doesn't make him a better quarterback.
It's good for commercials. It's great for commercials.
Yeah, fair. But, all right, let's go to the NFC West. Who do you have for the Seahawks?
We'll round it out. I put Walker Jones, kind of from the 2000s, Hall of Famer. I mean, I saw a crazy stat, too, that he only gave up like 20-something sacks in 180 games.
That's outrageous.
Seems wild. Seems like a wild statistic. I hope that's an accurate stat, and it's not a hearsay Mike stat, but that's what I read. I read that stat. I'm repeating it now.
All right, well, I have a fun thing next to it that says, if Njigba stays there, his majority of his career, do you think he makes a case?
I mean, he's going to need some years. I mean, I think if you 10 years, you got to get like 10 years of being a top-end wide receiver. For sure.
Okay.
I think he's got the talent. It's been a weird year for us, maybe, because with JSN, I think both of us for most this year, I don't know if we were doubters, but we didn't give him the nod of being like such an elite receiver. I didn't put him in the same category. He didn't get
placed in the parlay. He never got placed, dude. When 100+ yards, yeah.
I didn't put him in the same category like the Jamar Chases of the world or the Justin Jeffersons or the CD Lambs. I had him one tier below always, or even the Pukas. So maybe that's just on me, and I have to eat my words on that. But just signed a fat contract, serious business with the
as he should though. He's incredible, man.
Yeah, so
that's
good. My bad, JSN. My apologies, man.
Yeah, same over here.
I just had like another tier above you for most of the season, and that just wasn't right.
I could have made a lot more money if I believed in you. All right, for the Rams, I have Aaron Darnold. I think he's like the most prolific one there right now.
It's weird for me with them too, because I was there for that turf joint, the greatest show on turf. When you think about it, when they had the Marshall Faulk, the Kurt Warner, the Isaac Bruce. That was such a fun time, but that's also the St. Louis Rams. I don't know what we want to do here.
Yeah, that's the thing. How do we count it, man? Yeah, I don't know.
I'm okay if you want to go Donald. You guys, if you're fans here, this is a weird one because it's like that period was so cool, and everybody kind of wanted to be a Rams fan, straight up.
Yeah,
like they just coming out like blowing people out. And I mean, Kurt Warner took them to the first Super Bowl win. He had multiple MVPs.
He lost us a Super Bowl
I'm
too.
just throwing it out there.
No, he when he was with the Cardinals. But all right, well, let's go 49ers. Jerry Rice. When I was in college, they'd always see Jerry Rice like still running and doing his thing and everything as well. So I'm gonna say Jerry Rice just for location bias there.
I think it has to be Jerry Rice, but it is quite the history. I mean, because you got to think Steve Young and Joe Montana. But yeah, I'm all day Jerry Rice. He's talk about reliable hands. Or route running. It doesn't get better.
Not at all. Before the final team here, which is the Cardinals. Remember, we're giving away a Dan Marino signed football once we reach 10,000 subscribers on this channel, by the way, too. So if you've made it,
throw that in very early.
It's all right. You're the real one. The real ones at this point stayed.
This is the realest ones.
Yeah.
The realest ones.
Just make sure you subscribe. You like the video too. We'd appreciate that. I'm from Arizona. I can tell you very confidently it's Larry Fitzgerald. Everybody here still loves him, by the way, too. His kid is going through the high school system at one of the kind of prestigious high schools here now, too. And everybody's out there watching Larry Fitzgerald kid play football, and they just love him as much as. And also, I wish he would have left at some point, by the way. I really do. I wish he would have gone and actually won something. I think everybody felt bad from him at one point. We're like, Jesus Christ, dude, just go win. Like, we know you can, but he's our GOAT.
Yeah, I also have Larry Fitzgerald. And just got into the Hall of Fame as well. Congratulations. 2026 Hall of Fame class. And it was kind of a crazy story too, because he became friends kind of as a kid meeting Randy Moss. Have you seen this?
I haven't seen that, no.
So he went to I might misquote something, but he went to the games as like the is it a ball boy?
Yeah, like on the sidelines.
As a kid. And then they actually created like a real relationship, and it kind of went full circle. So it's kind of cool in that regard. Another unrelated side note, I hope there's a picture you can find of this, but I would never want to go golfing with Larry Fitzgerald. Like they try to put him in some golf pants and he's got way too much cake. I don't know if that's suspect, but it was crazy takes. Like the pants never look so, like it looks so uncomfortable. You know?
All right,
I was like, oh, less squats for you. No more squats in the off season for you, Larry.
That works. All right. Larry Fitzgerald has a nice ass. Won the video with that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'm sure you guys will have some differentiating opinions. Make sure to comment those down below, and we'll try to reply to everything we can. See you guys next time.